So the next session on information technology for smart cities and another session on the big picture. Both we are combining, and we are honored to have Shri Anil Swarup, who is Additional Secretary at the Cabinet Secretary of Government of India, who will be chairing this combined session of very eminent panelists. And the panelists in this session are Chetan Harsh from HP, R.D. Najim, who is the Secretary Urban Development from Government of Himachal Pradesh, Vishesh Gar Pale, who is the Commissioner at Bhopal Municipal Corporation. We have Shri Ved Prakash, who is the Commissioner at Jabalpur Municipal Corporation. We have Arun Doble, who is the Commissioner at Amravati Municipal Corporation. We have Shri Ganga Kumar, who is the MD of the Bihar State Building Construction Corporation. And Mr. G.S. Naveen Kumar, who is the Special Secretary, Department of IT, Government of UP. Dr. Ganesh Babu, who is the VP of Gujarat International Finance in Tech City, GIFT. Chetan Vaidyaji, who is the Director of School and Architecture. Amit Bhatt, who is the Strategy Head of Urban Transport, Embark, India. So this is a long list, and so I invite all the panelists on the dais, starting with Lisa and Mr. Please take the center.
In which areas of India, healthcare opportunities are
invite all of us. Inviting all the speakers on the dais.
And planning and building infrastructure tends to be hard. These are number of steps in it. Building
इससे पहले इलाज का कोई साधन नहीं था। यहाँ से जो भी बीमार होता था वो शहर में जाकर अपना इलाज करवाता था। छोटी बीमारी को ज्यादा गाँव में जो छोटे मोटे डॉक्टर रहते हैं या कुछ दुकानें वगैरह होती हैं उनसे दवाई ले लेते थे, वो ठीक नहीं होते थे तो उनके डॉक्टर जाके सीरियस बीमार हो जाते थे।
When we look at the problems faced by the government on the ground, the healthcare infrastructure, and problems faced by people who really want medical attention, we realize that what's happening is that healthcare infrastructure is being rolled out, but there is no way of monitoring what's happening on the ground. We realize that when we put all of this in a shipping container and then link it to a cloud, then we can start monitoring what's happening. What HP is providing over here is the entire information technology, including the cloud computing and integration of the medical diagnostic equipment with the health cloud, which is now hosted on an HP cloud platform. It takes forever to bring in a civil construction engineer and set up the entire infrastructure, and by the time they do it, the momentum is lost. With this kind of a solution, you rapidly bring it in, you put in diesel, it gets connected to the backend connectivity, brings in the doctor, and it's up and running from day one. For the first time, they can get the best of medical health care from around the world, which are sitting here. And they don't need to go out and spend a day to go to a city or a town and spend enormous amount of money just to travel there, stay in a hotel and get the medical treatment. They can get all of it sitting here. I think that's been a revolution.
मैं तो ये कहता हूँ कि ये सिस्टम है, ये हर गांव में चलना चाहिए। जितना फायदा आने वाला दूसरों को भी होगा, छोटी-छोटी बीमारी के लिए जगह भटकना नहीं पड़ेगा, घर पे इलाज हो जाएगा।
The minute you have accessing to people for healthcare, you give them opportunities to screen themselves for disease, to screen their children for disease. They will finally get a sense that somebody cares and that something matters. In a country like India, where only the rise of technology amongst the lowest class of society is going to be our salvation, that's going to have a huge social effect. These kids who see the powers and the wonders that technology can do for them will be inspired to pursue education and do something. The type of data you get from the e-health center, integrated with the new program of India of creating a national user ID for every individual, can create massive national health databases. And all that will be wrapped up later after we are starting the presentation.
Sir, this panel is about IT, role of IT in smart cities, and what's the big picture, what IT can play the role in building smart cities. So I am handing over this session in the hands of yours, and please take it up, inviting all the speakers to speak.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. You know, the last session, there is a competition whether there are more people on the dais or in the audience. Right now, I think the audience outnumbers those on the dais. Now, it will depend on the speakers whether they chase the other way and become the majority here. The effort should be smart enough to ensure that those that are here don't move out anymore, because the tea outside is pretty good. So some of you may be tempted to go out. Now, what I would suggest to the speakers is, smartness also means being precise, to the point, and making your point effectively. So don't mind if I stop you from speaking after you cross 5 minutes. Because if you take more than 5 minutes, then Mr. Gupta may have to give us a breakfast here. So I think it looks that he made arrangement for dinner. So we can hold on till 7 o'clock here, and then probably have a leisurely dinner, most of you. So with these words, I must confess that I am reasonably ignorant about smart cities. Time permitting, I'll tell you how we in the PMD can contribute and help you set up these smart cities. But I would not like to take that time right now. It will all depend on whether the speakers give me or leave me reasonable time after they speak, so that we don't run away. With this, I will start with Mr. R.D. Nazim, who's Secretary Urban Development, Himachal Pradesh. I'm wondering why he left that lovely weather and came to Delhi. Probably he's got the good weather here. Mr. Nazim, 5 minutes please.
Sir, I will make your job even easier. I have already spoken in the inaugural session in the morning, and I have just told you that I have just taken over this post, and that I had come here basically to listen, but then they made me come here on the inaugural session. So I had already spoken to them. I had only told that when we make these urban cities smart, let us just look at the poorest of the poor. Let us try to make our cities such a way that the poorest section of our population have a feeling that the city belongs to them. Whether it is transportation, whether it is water supply, whether it is sewerage, whether it is electricity, parking, and also the feeling of ownership that we are trying to put up in the urban livelihood mission. That's a huge initiative by our urban sector. So far, even in housing, we've just been trying to build houses without making the people feel that they belong to the city. I had spoken in the morning, I told them, let us try to make our cities more sensitive to the poorest of the poor. Let us make it smart, not just by making the life better for the richer guys, but also sensitizing it to such an extent that every person becomes part of the city. When the electricity goes off, or when the water supply stops, or when the sewage stops. In Himachal, LPG cylinders, for example, comes in once in 15 days. And the guy, if he's not there that particular day, he does not get the LPG cylinder, because that's how remote those parts are. If one simple SMS can come in, and I was talking about the tragedy that struck in the waves when kids were killed a month back. Even one SMS, because I'm also in charge of the power sector, and one of our dams opened that water. If only an SMS had gone to every person entering into Himachal Pradesh that please avoid going near the river because the water levels rise precariously without warnings, we could avoid this. So I am here more to listen to them. So I am sure that with this session, each one of us will be more enlightened to see how we will make ours not just a smarter city, but also a more sensitive city by using the IT services. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for taking me very seriously. You done it well within 5 minutes. And you made some very, very pertinent points. I think the sensitivity part cannot be ignored when we talk about smart cities. Next on the list is Mr. Chetan Harsh from HP.
Thank you, sir. I would be speaking on the role of ICT in smart cities. I am a solution architect by profession at HP. So let me summarize what has been discussed in the session across. So there are two parts. What do citizens want and how does ICT help in that? So to summarize, citizens, we have been told that citizens want safety, efficiency, happiness and services which they use every day. Their environment in which they live and work, that's what they want. And given that there will be 590 million people living in Indian cities by 2030, the planning which we need to do has to be at scale. And in order to do that planning and to execute that planning effectively, we need data. The data being actionable intelligence, actionable information. So the question becomes, how do you get that information, how do you get that data? So now, that's where the role of ICT is. The data can be captured by various sensors, cameras, things like that, spread across the city geography, whether in rural areas or urban areas, remote or dense population areas. So that sensors and cameras would be capturing data, whatever you require. The sensors have become very powerful today. They're small, they are now solar power. They can capture pressure, flow, temperature, sense, smell, taste, including presence. So that data is captured, sent on wireless, stored into the storage devices, processed for intelligence, trends, patterns, which is put on a dashboard, which is on which the human or the machine takes information from history of the intervention needed. And that is done in real time. For example, you might be having a set of sensors on the road, on a traffic pole, or a street light pole. There's a water sensor, pollution sensor, traffic sensor, presence sensor, things like that. And if the information comes to you on a real-time basis and you are able to respond back, for example, the water sensor, water level sensor tells you, okay, water is out of the road, you can probably get back to the water supply department and tell them you have 5 hours, you want to repair that. Things like that. So that is actionable information. So in order to get that, you need to have a high-speed, reliable, SLA-driven ICT solution, which is a combination of wireless technologies, communication, broadband technologies, servers, storage, network, software, dashboarding, security, and things like that. So that's the role of ICT. Once you have products, then comes the question of integration, design and integration. So you have people who do architecture services, people who do design services, people who do integration and consultancy services. They all are packaged together. And when the product services, etc., consultancy are packaged together in the correct format, they deliver the smartness to the city. That's what the role of ICT is. And to talk about my company, so we carry a broad portfolio where all of that what we have spoken about is carried. So we have revisions which do all this kind of work. We have approachables, frameworks, things like that. Time permitting, we will have gone through that. But this is what the role of ICT is. And with that, I conclude. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That was brilliant, actually. Very well said. I think the scaling part is the most important one. Because, as I mentioned in last conference, this country is very fond of pilots. And in India, unfortunately, pilots don't fly literally and sometimes otherwise. So until we talk of scale, and scale in the manner that you said, but you also brilliantly marketed your company as well. Well done. The next speaker on the list is Mr. Vishesh Ghorpade. Is that right? Commissioner of Power Municipal Corporation.
Good evening, guests. When we are in districts, we think that we are doing nothing. And one of the presentations today got also frustrated. But being in this workshop, I got to know that we are already doing something towards being a smart city. we have fully implemented ERP in Bhopal Municipal Corporation. Now we do not generate any manual bills, manual receipts, parking slips. Even our slaughterhouse is fully computerized. We do not make even our balance sheet and cash flow. Through our software partner, Deloitte and SAP, we have implemented ERP. Sir was saying about SMS services. We have database of each and every households in our system. We have given unique identity number to each and every property in Bhopal Municipal Corporation. Now we know that which property is getting what services of our corporation. We send SMS alerts of each and every steps if they want to get any services. And we also disseminate information bills through SMS only. We have implemented automatic building plan approval system. Anybody who is living in any part of the city can apply for building permission through online process and get a digitally signed building permission also. And at every steps he gets SMS as well as email alerts also. We have come up with citizen facilitation centers also. One of the presentations which I saw today, they were telling that we should have such facilities so that nobody should travel more than certain kilometers in city limits. Earlier in Bhopal Municipal Corporation, we had a system that anybody who wants to have a facility, he has to go to a particular ward and or a particular zone. Now through this integrated system, he can avail any facility of any part of the area in any of the area. He can just apply through online or he can come to any ward and he can get that facility. We have already implemented BRTS since September 2013 and we are on the way to implementing ITS also. I was just remembering one more presentation about electricity. So we have implemented LED lights in Bhopal with timers also. But there are few challenges ahead of us, sir. Being Liberty with seniors here, finance department rules should be amended with IT. Because when I was implementing ERP in our corporation, our auditor was saying that measurement book should have a seal, proper seal, and it should be issued with some authority. Because now we have electronic budget booking, then estimation making, then monitoring of projects, then e-measurement book, then billing of a contractor is also being done through our portal, and payments through RTGS. So they were saying that each and every receipt book should be issued with some authority with proper seal. So I used to make them convinced that now it is not being done. We are disbursing our pensions through RTGS, and they were saying that they should have a register with proper receipts of the beneficiaries. So these are the issues. So when we use IT, rules of government should also be amended accordingly. When we come in such conferences, we see so many private partners working on this. But when we go for a tender, because now we are implementing IT in many sectors, like I said, PRTS, street lights and all, there are very few companies who participate and come with proper technologies. So there is a need to again explore private partners and come up with new technologies, because there are so many contractual disputes which are the reasons why these projects are not being implemented, and all these things are being done in isolation. We have our separate database. Revenue department is having separate database. Registry and staff and registry departments having separate database, and these are not linked with each other. We are doing our tendering process at our own level, then again some other municipal corporation will do the same work and again reinvent the wheel. Why we can't replicate best practices in entire state or entire country? Government of India has so many good softwares, but why we should go for a separate tender and why should we go for a separate software? If best practices is done in any part of the country, why it can't be replicated?
Thank you very much. I think very pertinent points. I must confess to the audience here that I was in Bhopal this morning and I saw the evidence of good work that he's doing. I did not know that he's the person involved. So my compliments to you. Excellent city, very well kept. It's a matter of pride for all. I was feeling so good about driving down Bhopal. You're doing a fabulous job. But remember these words that you said today, because I'm sure you one day become finance secretary. And do the same thing with the present finance secretary does after having cursed what was happening in the finance industry. So now we won't have British coming over here to tell us what we got to do. You and I will have to do it. So when you go back, take these words, go and meet the finance secretary, tell that Mr. Ajit will call you to meet him and get this sorted out. This is absolute nonsense and needs to be sorted out. I'm sure it will be sorted out because I was sitting with your IT secretary, who's also secretary to the chief minister, and saw the data center, which is fabulous. And he told me that they are integrating back and everything. So since you've done this fabulous job, since you live in Bhopal and you have the power of switching someone's tab off, you might as well use it against the finance secretary. Get it moving. We've got to get things moving. Next on the list is another municipal corporation commissioner. This time it is Mr. Ved Prakash. He's not here. Then we have Mr. Arun Dongre, Amravati Municipal Corporation.
Good evening, sir. Sir, Arun Dongre, Municipal Commissioner Amravati. Sir, Amravati is having population around 8 lakhs. As I have done the ATO this year, the automatic building plan upload. So it is totally web-based. RDA can upload their file from their house or from their office. It is an automated process. And it is, as it is web-based, anybody can see. RDA can see, their house owner can see how it is processing. Where is the file? So at least 14 to 15 days is required to complete the process. Once it is completed, if there is any discrepancy, the email and SMS alert to that RDA or the household. These are discrepancies. You rectify that. If it is rectified, then it is level 1, level 2, and final come to me. And it is okay. Then it is again SMS to that party and say that your plan is approved. And you have paid such amount. Once it is paid, that is online, he get his plan approved. So this is one of the system that is Amravati master. Amravati is done successfully. Second, sir, as it is SMS alert system about the house property tax. That Airtel or BSNL gives an alert base. Our pays such and such amount. I also last SMS, your property number such and such, you have to pay the amount this month. If you are already paid, please ignore it. So, for the society, we have done this user technology base. As it is, when we go for the smart city, it is also a self city. Also, like mandate, just one presentation about mandate. Also, for the tenders of safe city, and it is completed in 3-4 months. So I have also done the e-learning system in that slum area. There are 4-5 schools there, provides areas there. They are totally slum dwellers. College of Badari area, Faizapura. The e-learning is for that children who are from the poor. That come from a very poor family. So what happened? My municipal 10th standard result for my school is 90%. And more 10 to 15 girls and boys, they are getting more than 90% marks. If it is a e-learning started from this year, I hope that it will increase up to 95% of my result, and more students, they are getting more persons. The technology is used for the society and make my city smart. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I next have Mr. Ganga Kumar, Managing Director, Bihar State Building Infrastructure Corporation.
Sir, good evening. smart city, practically I go to the government of Bihar, especially the parent department like the building construction department, urban development, environmental forest department. We used to work in a discrete way as one entity, but we are just trying to go for the holistic way so that the accumulative approach development in economy, infrastructure, environment, public transport, sanitation, and even e-mode, that may be the e-health, e-business, strategic business partnership with a private partnership. We are just trying to move in that way, sir. In that way, sir, the government of Bihar, especially urban development and building construction department and corporation, where I am working as an MD as well as a special secretary in the department also. Sir, we are focusing in three different strategies, sir. Number one, discrete. For that, we are trying to figure out and trying to take a cumulative approach for strategic infrastructure. That may be for health, education, or any other sector, sir. Second, that may be the strategy for sustainable business. And third, but most important, private partnership and the green building concept for building infrastructure and any other kind of infrastructure activities, sir. Like in last 5 to 10 years, sir, government of Bihar in this sector, especially green building concept, means from pure water to pure water concept. Like total sanitation campaign in Patna, the Bungan several cities in Bihar, several green concept whole campus like the International Convention Center, worth more than 600 crore, Agriculture University Kishanganj, more than 700 crore, Bihar Museum, that is the architectural heritage, that will be the architectural heritage for the government of Bihar, sir. These are some of the places where we have tried to mingle out with the private partnership as well as green building concepts, sir. We have also learned a lot from government of India, different kind of legislation, that National Environment Assessment Act 2005 and government financing and accounting system. In my corporation, we have utilized these two things. Without these two, we are not going to utilize any other thing, sir. Apart from this, CSR activities in our corporations, government of Bihar has taken two different kinds of strategies. One, the PU is public sector undertaking, PSU, different corporations, they have to take care of different activities for making smart cities. Like Building Construction Corporation, we have already asked for the total sanitation and comprehensive drainage package on the toilet for 6 cities. Like this other corporation under CSR activity, they are also doing in the same way, sir. That is the greatest challenge we are facing, but we are trying to figure out that we have already moved to it, sir. I hope every state will face the same kind of difficulty, but the holistic approach, every state is doing good work, but the holistic approach for combined as a smart city, as like the smart persons, we will have to take care of that in future, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Ganga Kumar. I see a lot of initiative being taken by various municipal corporations, state governments. And I hope in a conference like this, some of you that have taken such good steps sit together around the table. And as was being correctly mentioned by somebody here, that why can't we draft a national sort of an approach to it so that there's no replication or duplication necessary. And we don't, every corporation does not reinvent the wheel and spend so much money. And I think the speed with which you are making your presentations, I will have time to suggest to you how we in our organization actually assisting state governments to do what if they were to do individually, it will take years, but since it has been done centrally, they are standing to benefit by what we are saying. And this sort of a model could be replicated in urban development and elsewhere. With this, I now invite Mr. G.S. Naveen Kumar, Special Secretary, Department of Information Technology in UP. He is doing a wonderful job. I had the occasion to listen to him and see good work that he did in a conference organized by Ravi Gupta last year, and I was very impressed. And I am also impressed that he continues to be where he was a year ago. And the nominee state. Okay, so I mistake you for being there. So you have been shifted, but nonetheless, he seems to be doing a good job, so let's hear him out.
Thank you, sir. When somebody makes a presentation, any technology, I keep telling them only one thing. All this technology we have seen it in movies 10, 20 years back. And why are we not able to do it so far? This is a question. When you do certain things in government, it doesn't replicate that easily. Like you see all this technology, whatever you are showing today, it has been there for a long, long time. And the problem is how do you get this technology? Even the simplest of technologies. We talk about smart cities, we talk about thinking systems. At the end, we only computerize systems. At the end, we put systems which are only computerized. Your grievance management system is just computerized. So, and that's the whole point. We are talking about systems, we create smart cities with dumb people. And that's what happens at the end of the day. Let me put a simple example. Whenever it rains in Delhi, it's like your traffic, there's a huge traffic jam for 3 hours. I am unable to decipher why this traffic jam happens every single day. And why we are not able to do anything about it. And all you have to do is take your phone, put your navigator, find out which are the roads which are blocked. And you see it on the navigator, it shows it's completely red. And everybody has this facility on their phone. We had geolocation system for a long, long time and we never used it. This is where this government should come in and probably should encourage people to understand what do we actually have. And we should try to incorporate one of them. Let me put another example. Someone was discussing about how do you do a system management for a municipality. There is a bin or a street light which has to be repaired. And all you have to do is you have to call a number and you have to tell the description, this is this. And this goes on for a series. And the system is like this. You will call the supervisor calls someone will call someone, and it goes on for a day. And when it reaches the other person who is supposed to do the work, it will be the end of it. Why can't we simply put a number on the street light and say SMS in case if the street is blocked, and you create a tagging system which directly goes, which was actually tried in Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. So these are things which are already tried out, and we are not able to replicate it. This is where the government, as the chairman of the panel said, we should try to replicate things which have already happened. Instead of trying to do more, let us completely sit down and do what we have already done. So we are, the government of UP is also trying to do certain things. One of my corporations is headquartered in NCR, is doing an integrated grievance response system, IGRS, for Noida Greater Noida. So we are good for all those people who are inhabitants of Noida and Greater Noida. This should be in place in the next 3 or 4 months. And in this work, I say that instead, we should create smart cities with smarter people rather than dumb people.
Thank you, well said. Next on the list I have is Dr. Ganesh Babu, Vice President Infrastructure Planning, Gujarat International Finance Technical City GIFT.
Good evening, everybody. I am from GIFT City, which we are developing in the state of Gujarat, Gandhinagar. Since morning I am hearing about the smart city, the utility problems such as water problems, sewer problems, then ICT problems. Like GIFT is a finance technology city where we are developing a 62 million square feet with a concept of like before user identify the problem, the authority should identify the problem and rectify the problem. In this formula only, we are constructing this GIFT. With the permission of the chair, I would like to present 5-minute video. I have given the not a movie which we are implementing currently at Gandhinagar.
is fast emerging as the growth engine with world-class technology, seamless connectivity, state-of-the-art infrastructure, and the finest talent pool. Analysts forecast the sector is poised to contribute up to 10 to 11 million jobs by 2020 in India. Gujarat government is developing GIFT, Gujarat International Finance Tech City, a global financial hub. Gujarat, a preferred investment destination due to its political stability, strong leadership, pro-business policies, and vast talent pool. What's more, its intrinsic entrepreneurial spirit, backed by reliable resources and strong infrastructure, only adds to the advantage factor. The geostrategic positioning of GIFT will enable operators to service geographically extreme financial markets by bridging far-flung time zones. Accentuating the advantage factors, GIFT is located between Gandhinagar and Ahmedabad and also connected to the fastest growing Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor planned along the NH8. GIFT also provides easy access to the Ahmedabad International Airport via a dedicated road link. Additionally, Metro and BRTS assures access to and fro from all sides. The bird's eye view reveals the futuristic design that GIFT is. A truly international and high-tech city spread over 886 acres of land by the riverside, the master plan is divided into two zones. A notified multiple services special economic zone with processing and non-processing areas, and the remaining area as domestic tariff area, the DTA. Urban form of the city is guided by superior infrastructure, futuristic buildings, immaculate green spaces, large water body, well-connected transport network, wide sidewalks lined by beautiful majestic trees, and fine balance between recreational and residential spaces. In this boundaryless world at GIFT, the building blocks are planned sans boundary walls. The most picturesque public space is the Samruddhi Sarovar, a recreation lifeline of GIFT connected to Tapas Udyan, the green lung of the city by a 60-meter wide pedestrian green boulevard. Tapas Udyan is flanked by an institutional zone that will offer world-class education and healthcare. Also, it has a fine executive golf course with clubbing facilities. GIFT boasts of one of the largest exhibition centers of India. The city will stand tall amongst its peers, recreating a dazzling skyline silhouetted against the river with Diamond Tower as its centerpiece, a 410-meter tall structure that speaks of a truly global image. Sizable foreground to the buildings and podiums will scale down the otherwise tall buildings. Facade guidelines are mandated for better orientation and natural light and ventilation. The city is being developed on smart, user-friendly, safe, eco-friendly, and sustainable infrastructure principles. Multi-level car parks, metro stations, public transport hubs, and elevated walkways make GIFT a pedestrian-friendly and safe city. GIFT is an eco-friendly city. It provides for a 24/7 portable water supply, zero discharge aimed by reuse of wastewater, and automated waste collection system. GIFT also confirms 24/7 highly reliable uninterrupted power supply system. Cooling within GIFT is by most energy efficient district cooling system. A dedicated utility service corridor in the form of a large underground tunnel shall monitor, manage and facilitate the utility network of the entire city. Being a high-rise business district, state-of-the-art fire detection, fire evacuation system is planned for GIFT. Cutting-edge ICT, smart and intelligent building and infrastructure and city command control center truly make GIFT a futuristic city. Institutional framework led by GIFT UDA will oversee the urban development and facilitate single window clearance system. GIFT CM aims to plan, develop, operate and maintain the international finance tech city through several infrastructure-led subsidiary companies. These companies will provide municipal services, advanced technology support, and focused sector-specific services to GIFT City. GIFT, a truly global financial hub where wealth creates wealth.
Thank you.
I think impressive and smart. There could be many takers for this futuristic city. Next we have Mr. Amit Bhatt, Strategy Head Urban Transport, MARC, India.
The time is, the presentation is that I thought, India is playing England, so I thought 5 days is the flavor of the season. But I think we are going to play 2020 here. So I will not take much time and only 5 minutes to kind of present a unique example. One is what we saw GIFT as how do you create new cities which are smart. But the question really becomes how can you do some innovative pieces of smartness in our existing cities. And what I'm going to talk about is a small initiative called a Rahagiri Day, which happened in Gurgaon, started in Gurgaon, and has now become gone viral across the country. And the topic was public-private partnership. And so this again is a very interesting example of public-private and people's partnership in doing something which is very smart and which is very interesting. So by the time it comes up, I'll just quickly take a couple of minutes to kind of explain what it is all about. So we know one of the issues with our cities is a lack of public spaces. And roads are a wonderful form of public space, but they're not used in a very smart manner. Because it's a public space, the usage of road differs from the time of the day of the week of the month, and the month of the year. But the way we use our roads is only for one purpose, largely it is about moving automobiles. So we thought of kind of using it in a much more sustainable manner, one more smart manner, and we came up with this concept called Rahagiri Day. And what Rahagiri Day does is actually uses the core city roads and it blocks traffic on these roads for a limited period on a given Sunday. And the objective of doing it is that roads are meant for all categories of road users. So it's not only about cars or motor vehicles, it is also about people who are walking, people who are cycling, people with kids who are just playing. So with this concept, a couple of civil society organizations joined hand with the traffic police and the district administration and launched this concept called Rahagiri Day. And since October 17th when this concept was launched, it has seen huge response from not only residents of Gurgaon and Delhi who participated, but also from national and international experts who have been to the space and kind of like the system. And one of the reasons for doing Rahagiri Day is we want to address this whole issue of road safety, because 1.5 lakh Indians die every year on road safety. Delhi was recently kind of presented as the most polluted city in the world, and 70% of these emissions come from the motor vehicles that we use. So we wanted to kind of give a statement that there are smarter ways of using roads. And the physical inactivity is a big time in India. India is not the diabetic capital of the world. Simply because we are not physically active. We are having a very serious infections. And so some organizations, embark is one of them where I come from, with the district administration and traffic police, came up and launched this concept called Rahagiri Day. And 4.5 kilometers of Gurgaon for 4.5 hours to 5 hours every day, every Sunday is pedestrianized. You can't take your vehicles, but you can walk, cycle, do yoga, do physical activity. The idea is to make state. And when the concept came in, a lot of volunteers came and supported. We got a lot of institutional members, volunteers, private corporate agencies come and supported this concept. And with this media support, the whole messaging was kind of given to the citizens of Gurgaon that yes, there are smarter ways of using public spaces, roads in this case. And we came up with this big ad, a half-page ad, which led to this whole campaign. And what we're trying to say that the streets are for people, the cities are for people, and that is the whole process of driving. And then you can use streets in a much more smarter way as a form of public space. We also have a Facebook page which has more than 6,500 likes, and it's very actively followed. Rahul there is a trending word. But what happened on 17th of November is I will try your attention first. When we launched this concept, people said, the people are active in Gurgaon is the most expensive city. People are there on social media. When they come on the street and participate. Personally, I was thinking if 1,000 or 1,500 people come up, I will be the first person who will jump and say it's a success. But on 17th of November, we saw 10,000 people running on the 400 streets, just to walk, just to cycle, just to be in their families. And with every passing event, it started growing from 10,000 to 12,000, 15,000 to a saturation level of about 25,000 people. And it is widely covered even in the national media. It's not only Times of India, but Hindustan Times, and the regional papers are covering. There are celebrities who are talking about it, that yes, this is a smart way of using a scarce resource for public space. It also won international awards. And I was surprised to find that Lonely Planet, which is a travel website, recommends top 10 things to do in Gurgaon, and the number 10th item is participate in Marketing. So that is the power. It has been a huge impact on the other things. So a lot of people have participated, a lot of people went and bought bicycles because after 15-20 years they started cycling. A lot of people are now using for short trips to walk and cycle, which earlier they were using cars. So that's a smart transition which has happened. People come from various activities. They come for walk, they come for yoga, they come for Zumba and whatnot. People have found their own niche. And the most important thing was business houses which were saying, if you stop vehicles, our sales will go down. The same set of people are now saying, please don't stop Rahagiri Day because our sales are going down. Because when people walk, when people cycle, they get tired, they eat breakfast, they buy from the local businesses and they go up. So the sales have seen, the footfalls have increased and it is kind of beneficial to them. The noise levels have gone down because there is no traffic which is allowed. The PM 2.5 exposure, which is one of the most carcinogenic pollutant that comes from vehicle emission, has reduced significantly on the Rahagiri Day. And the most important thing, the stretch of road recorded 5 fatal accidents from January to October of last year. From November till date, there has not been a single fatal accident. Because people are driving less aggressive, the event is used to sensitize them about road safety and taking care of pedestrians and cyclists. A lot of people want this to continue. And what we want is how do we use Rahagiri Day to transition from this slide on the left to this slide on the right, where the roads are designed for all category of road users and not only people who are in the cars and two-wheelers. The route has extended, it has gone to other cities, Ludhiana, Mumbai, and last Sunday we started this in Connaught Place. So if you are there in Delhi this Sunday, please come to Connaught Place Inner Circle and participate. And this is what the end of my presentation. If you can have a small increase the volume, then I will just take 59 seconds to show you some pictures of Rahagiri Day.
And Ahmedabad, and also connected to the fastest growing Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor planned to Gandhi Energy. GIFT also provides easy access to the Ahmedabad International Airport via a dedicated road link. Additionally, Metro and BRTS assures access to and fro from all sides. The bird's eye view reveals the futuristic design that GIFT aims. A truly international and high-tech city spread over 886 acres of land by the riverside, the master plan is divided into 2 zones. A notified multiple services special economic zone with processing and non-processing areas, and the remaining area as domestic tariff area, the DTA. Urban form of the city is guided by superior infrastructure, futuristic buildings, immaculate green spaces, large water body, well-connected transport network, wide sidewalks lined by beautiful majestic trees, and fine balance between recreational and residential spaces.
I think brilliant, it was really brilliant. And I'm glad it was replicated very well. The last speaker for the day is Mr. Chetan Vaidya, Director, School of Planning and Architecture.
Among practitioners, I'm a professor. For him to speak in 5 minutes is like punishment. But I thought Chairman said about this experience sharing of good practices. And under JNU, the Ministry of Urban Development has started a program called Peer Experience and Reflect to Learn. And a lot of good practices have been documented and shared about this. I think as far as smart cities are concerned, we should look at it as overall part of the overall urban strategy, which is making cities sustainable, inclusive, and obviously smart. And unless we improve our urban infrastructure and urban governance, and putting that both together, we cannot improve our economic situation. Because GDP is growing in urban areas. That old saying which we heard, that India lives in rural areas, is no more true. And all this ICT techniques will help us to improve our urban infrastructure and urban people. But one of the main things, I also studied like the British studied. We had a land use plan where we had separate industries, separate residential, settlers, commercial. That concept has to go. We have to integrate and have mixed land use and integrate it with public transport. When I studied planning, the person who taught me public transport and land use planning never talked to each other. I think that, and we have to increase our floor space index and density. I think the more we want to improve our infrastructure, we have to think of a higher density, higher FSI, floor space index, and link up with public transport. And that is extremely important. And when we're talking about, Gift City is a very good example. This is something which opens our eyes. But there's also a need to look at our present cities, how we could do retrofitting in those cities. And all this, various tools, we talk about GIS, linked with cloud sourcing and things like that, would help in some of the suggestions which was made, particularly with the Bhopal Municipal Corporation, is going into that, how we can use our different technologies to improve delivery of services. And similarly, it's not limited just to the city or land use or floor space. Even buildings are to become green. I think a lot of energy could be saved the way we orient our buildings. Whatever we say, traditionally we knew how to orient our buildings. Unfortunately, in this modern world and use of air conditioning and the glass, we have forgotten. Very simple techniques we can use. Energy consumption bringing back 10 to 15%. And we're talking about smart cities, but basically we have learned a lot in what is called as JNU, phase 1 as well as phase 2. I think we should learn from that, particularly look at the various reforms. Even simple thing like title of our title, kind of property things, e-governance, all that needs to be linked up with smart city. So I think smart city which is being proposed by the government is a step forward of JNU, and that is how it should be looked at, rather than something which is completely new. And it is linked to innovations. I was also supposed to speak something on PPP. Can PPP help in making greener cities, smarter cities? I think extremely important for PPPs, which we don't understand. If you can identify a beneficiary and he is willing to pay, that is basically we are talking about revenue model, business model. Unless we have a clear-cut business model, which should not be for whole of infrastructure. It could be just for operation and maintenance. If we can start with that, then PPP could happen in an incremental manner, rather than thinking somebody will come, take up our cities and improve water supply, and we will not even know where the pipes are. That is not going to happen. And finally, being a teacher who's talking of capacity building, I think we have lack of capacity on all levels in urban sector. Somebody mentioned he doesn't get enough response to his tenders when you throw tenders for this. But I am telling you, in urban sector, national level, state level, local level, all do not have people. And even private sector doesn't have people. A lot of consultants who come to me as consultant actually are my young teachers who are just passed, young students who are just passed out. मैं उनको बोलता हूँ इनको मैं पैसे क्यों दूँ उनसे लोग मुझे पैसे लेने चाहिए कि मैं इनको सिखा रहा हूँ. That is the situation. I mean, on a very lighter side, I think you are teaching. The whole community is learning, and I think it's extremely important for this workshop like this help. Even this 7 or 8 presentation have told me something which is new is happening in the urban sector, and I think I welcome this initiative by Ravi, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vaid. We would have loved to hear you more. Whatever you said makes so much sense, and but unfortunately we have run out of time. We have about 5 minutes left. I think the success of this session has been on account of precision on part of the speakers, and it is also reflected in the number of audience actually. It seems to have almost doubled. I don't know what is the reason, but I take it that the speakers spoke so well that people from outside found tea not as good as the speech here. They came in and said. Now that we have about 4-5 minutes, I will consume those 4-5 minutes to tell you what we are attempting to do in a group which I head called the Project Monitoring Group in the Cabinet Secretariat. We have managed to create a fileless office. My office does not have a file. All the projects that are above 1,000 crore, industry can go onto a portal that we have created and mention the problems which go automatically to a designated joint secretary in the Ministry in Government of India. And they are mandated to give their comments on the portal itself, which then becomes visible to the industry. We parallelly set up 12 subgroups to discuss these problems, and some of these subgroups meet on a fixed day and time every week, and the minutes of the meeting are recorded on the portal during the meeting. So there is nothing else required to be done. Everything happens on the portal. Seeing this, 11 states have already set up similar portals, and we've helped them do that, and this is what I want to emphasize here. When we created this opportunity for them to create a portal, then we said, okay, we will help you design the software, and we designed it centrally. Now that central software is not being used by states. So states could have designed their own software, spent a lot of money, because in government, when you have an IT project, what you do is to first buy the hardware, then a software, and then look at the processes. And it goes totally haywire. Here we actually, since we understood processes, we did it, and now 11 states have done it. I was in fact, as I said, to Bhopal yesterday, on Monday we went to Gujarat to launch it. Almost every state will have this portal, and this portal is back-ending to our portal. So for projects between 100 and 1,000 crore, the state portal will be used. For project above 1,000 crore, the central portal will be used. So the problems travel seamlessly between two portals, meaning thereby for 100 to 1,000 crore, the state level problems will stay with the respective departments of the state government, and the central problems will automatically flow to me. And with a push of button, I push them to the concerned joint secretary to be discussed in the subgroup meetings. So we've automated everything, agenda, everything is automated. I don't issue any letter to anybody, I don't issue any agenda, just push of a button, it happens. And when the state government saw it, all of them are replicating it. So the point that I was making earlier was that so much good work is happening. I think someone in the central government will sit down and speak to Shankar, the President Secretary of Urban Development, and tell him, someone has to sit, Nick, these very officers of subgroup can be formed to 3-4 people and design one thing for the central government and then offer it to the state government. We never asked the state government to do it, we just offered them and they are lapping it up. Who would not? So it's a question of, pooling this knowledge and then coming up with arrangements and institutions which do not really require, so to say, replication. They will require adoption the moment the value proposition gets conveyed to the stakeholders. So ultimate sustainability of a project will come in terms of its perception about its viability, its usability, its durability, and once that is established, you don't have to work much. In fact, despite the number of projects that we have, the project monitoring group today is sitting on 445 projects worth 21 lakh crores of rupees, which is equivalent to around 25% of Indian GDP. And despite all that, we have only 4 people doing it. And I have sufficient time to come here and have a chat with you. I travel every Monday and Friday to one of the states. Every Monday, I am in Delhi for 3 days only. Yet I should not reveal the secret. During these 3 days also, I have spare time to do other things. I must thank all the speakers here who made my task very easy. I didn't have to remind anybody. They did a brilliant job, and it is evidenced by the fact that all of you are sitting here. And I thank you very much for cooperating with me. Thank you.
Thanks for conducting the session so well. We are grateful for the great dialogue which happened and the great interaction which happened. And I request you to kindly give away the token of appreciation to all of the speakers. So let's start with Professor Chetan Upadhyay. Thanks, sir, for being here. Mr. R.D. Najim, who is the Secretary Department of Urban Development, Himachal Pradesh. Thank you for being here. May I request you to give away the memento to Mr. Ganga Kumar from Bihar State Building Corporation. Thank you. May I request that you give away the memento to the next speaker. I'm like actually only with the names, so I'm sorry. Thank you. Next speaker from Embark, Amit Aizamosh. Thank you, Amit. Great initiative. Our next speaker, Arun Dogleji, who is a professional from Amravati Municipal Corporation. And our speaker here. Thank you so much. And to our HP representative, Mr. Chetan, who has been talking about ICT in the urban governance. Thank you all. So with this we are closing the session and we are immediately starting the next session, which is our award session of the event. I request except Mr. Anil Swarup-ji, everyone else occupying the seat here. Please be here to encourage the people who are doing some great stuff in ICT governance.